לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is wonderful to be here together, and tonight I sense a sense of celebration in the air. We are celebrating our graduating seniors, and I know that many of us are also very happy about the Warriors' victory. We are again world champions, and of course we have the summer solstice coming up next week, and I recall I was here about 10 years ago, and there was an interfaith event. I don't remember quite what it was. And someone who wasn't Jewish asked Rabbi Raphael of blessed memory, what is the most important Jewish holiday of the year? And without skipping a beat, he said, Shabbat. So we have many reasons to celebrate tonight. I'm rabbinic intern George Altshuler. I use he, him pronouns. I'm joined by Senior Rabbi Jessica Graf, Rabbi Abby Phelps, Cantor Toby Glaser, Jonathan Dimmock, our wonderful music director. We have Zach Migdale and Peter Bonos helping us out with tech, and we are all really grateful and happy that you are here. So before we get started, I'm wondering, is this anyone's first time in Cherith, Israel? Please raise your hand. Wonderful. Would you mind introducing yourself to us?
Welcome, Jerry.
Welcome, Jerry. Wonderful to have you. And I'll share that I just saw some people walk into our sanctuary not a few minutes ago, and I think it was their first time here, and I saw the look on this person's face, oh my gosh, this is an incredible space, and that just really moved me. So I'd like to invite up Mike Feldman to offer our board welcome, and while Mike is walking up, I invite you to turn to someone next to you and wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome.
Shabbos.
My name is Mike Feldman on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Welcome to Shabbat services tonight. We're going to celebrate our seniors finishing up. Mazel Tov. Ollie and Abe say Mazel Tov as well. And we're going to have a nice night. So welcome and enjoy.
Thank you, Mike. And speaking of our seniors, I would like to invite our seniors up to lead us in the candle lighting.
And if I may, in celebration of your relative wellness and also your connection to these seniors, Natalie and Heath, if you'd like to come and join them, you're welcome to. But you don't have to, but you're welcome to.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Thank you very much, seniors, and you'll receive more blessings later in our service. We continue now by welcoming in the angels of Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, which can be found on page 20.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורף ומאורי, אורי, אורי, שדברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing for our Baruchu, our call to prayer, page 28.
Die, 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 die.
moments before our Shema, our central declaration of faith, we recall God's love. We ask that God never remove God's love from us. And we say, praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו וקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Page 36, please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת פעם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Michamocha is on page 40.
מי כמוך פעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלף, נורא תהילות אוסף אלף, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, Zeli Ano ve'amro Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Yadai dai yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai dai Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Ve'ne'emar ki fadadonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gar Yisrael.
As we complete our transition from day to night time in our liturgy, we pray for protection under heavenly wings. And don't we know how much we need that protection today? Hashkivenu is on page 43.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, ve'ha'amidenu shamreinu l'chayim. Ufras aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufras aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us really wrong from right.
We now turn our hearts to those in need of shlemut, in need of the wholeness of healing. Misha Berach is on page 253.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We pray tonight for the healing of Tzur Miriam Bat Hana Moshe, Aharon Ben Tzvi, Jim Blattner, Bob Fonaro, William Kurian, Agnes Rothblatt, Dr. Eric Tabas, Shell Wolf, and those whom we name now.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We now take a moment to set our intentions, to reflect on the week that has passed, on the Shabbat that we're about to enjoy. When you feel that you are ready to pray the Amidah, the standing prayer, please rise and join us for Adonai Sefatai on page 46.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד התר. מכלכל חיים בחסד, וחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We'll spend the next few moments in silent prayer, and then we will come back together from silence with Oseh Shalom on page 62. When you have finished your prayers, you may be seated.
עושה שלום במרומה הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל עושה שלום במרומה הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ויאמרו אמן ויאמרו אמן ויאמרו
Shabbat Shalom. As I was thinking about what to say to our graduates tonight, I decided to go back and reread a graduation speech that I had seen a few years ago. I couldn't remember who delivered it or where, but I remembered the line, "Wear sunscreen." So I Googled that. Lo and behold, it popped up. You might remember this speech too, went around the internet for a while. Well, I discovered it wasn't actually ever delivered at a graduation. It was written by a woman named Mary Schmish for the Chicago Tribune. It was the graduation speech she would have liked to have given somewhere. It's pretty good, filled with all kinds of sage advice for new graduates and life in general. Since you're all much better at using computers than I am, I'm sure you can find it if you'd like to look it up later, but I'll share a few snippets here. The speech that was never given starts out, "Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 97, wear sunscreen." It continues, "Don't worry about the future, or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your worried mind, the kind that blindside you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday." Now, over 3 decades past high school graduation myself, I have more perspective to see wisdom and truth in much of this speech. It continues with the advice, "Do one thing every day that scares you." Now, actually, I happen to know that that's an Eleanor Roosevelt quote. So I'd add to this speech, never ever plagiarize. It's illegal. And anyway, Judaism teaches that we bring the Messiah a bit closer when we teach in the name of our teachers. So don't plagiarize. I did have a magnet on my fridge for years with the Eleanor Roosevelt quote on it. That's how I knew who actually said that line. Do one thing every day that scares you. I think that's very good advice. Anyway, back to the undelivered speech. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts. Don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. floss. Okay, that's a hard one for me, anyway. I've been trying to floss for over 40 years, and I just can't get it quite right. I will admit to all of you, I did recently find a fabulous new floss. I'm happy to discuss it with any of you later who have the same problem that I do. But I digress. The speech continues with these words: maybe you'll marry, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have children, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll divorce at 40, maybe you'll dance the funky chicken on your 75th wedding anniversary. Whatever you do, don't congratulate yourself too much or berate yourself either. Your choices are half chance. So are everybody else's. Be nice to your siblings. They're your best link to your past and the people most likely to stick with you in the future. Understand that friends come and go, but with a precious few, you should hold on. Work hard to bridge the gaps in geography and lifestyle, because the older you get, the more you need the people who knew you when you were young. And perhaps my favorite line: live in New York City once, but leave before it makes you hard. Live in Northern California once, but leave before it makes you soft. Travel. There are many more nuggets of truth in this speech, which ends as it began, directing the new graduates to generously apply sunscreen. I remember reading this speech at some point a few years ago. The advice sounded sage and derived from real life. So as I thought about our very own graduates, I decided to find it again. And I read it. But since this isn't a graduation, but rather a Shabbat service, I decided I should also read this week's Torah portion in case it had any good advice for new graduates. I wasn't quite sure how Beha'alotcha would measure up next to what the Washington Post deemed, quote, the greatest commencement speech ever, though not actually a speech. But the Torah never disappoints. It's filled with ancient wisdom that will surely help all of you live a better life as you tiptoe into adulthood. Suffice it to say, I was surprised to find some similar advice to that of the Chicago Tribune speech, not speech, and some really good stuff too. So here's some ancient wisdom from the Torah for you to contemplate as you enter the next stage of life. The Torah suggests the following. Number one, wherever you go after working as a priest in the community for 25 years, retire. But keep hanging out with the community even if you don't work as a priest. Retire after 25 years. Always make space for new ideas and keep challenging yourselves to try things you haven't done. Work hard, but then step back and look at what you've created. Never stop building community around you. Number two, be sure to observe Passover at its appointed time, which I think means keep your commitments, honor your traditions, and celebrate every miracle. Not to mention lots of holidays, decorate with reckless abandon. That's my addition. And find Jewish food that you love. Be proud of your heritage. The Torah also says, invite people into your celebrations, the proselyte and the native. Treat all people with dignity. Welcome the strangers. They just might become close friends. Include all those who choose to build a better world with you. Number three, recognize abundance around you. The Israelites kvetched way too much. Appreciate the bounty of the earth. Cultivate gratitude. Recognize that your problems are not new. Our ancestors dealt with all of our challenges and more. Be glad we live in a time of innovation. Don't forget that great things have been invented in the last 3,000 years. Life was harder before sunscreen and toilet paper. Appreciate them both. Number four. So it turns out in this Torah portion, the Israelites complained so much about their vegetarian diet that God sent quail to rain down on them for days. That's all they had to eat. And soon they had quail stuck in their teeth in the desert. So perhaps the best advice to emerge from this Torah portion is also in the Chicago Tribune's speech: floss. Floss your teeth every day just because you can. Find a good dentist. Be vigilant about your dental hygiene. It's not nice to have quail stuck in your teeth. Number 5, learn from Miriam, who made rude comments about her sister-in-law. Be welcoming, have compassion, never judge by appearances. If you miss the mark like Miriam did, hopefully you won't get leprosy. But just in case, always know where to find a good dermatologist and a good therapist. See them both regularly. Pray for the healing of others. Take good care of yourself, too. Come home often to see us here. We will miss you as you go off to explore the world. Never forget that you have roots that run deep and that you belong right here. You are loved, you are worthy of being loved, and you will change the world. As much as we want you to stay right here, though, we know that you must go and find your destiny. The rabbis of the Talmud knew that too, and gave us this blessing that I share with you tonight. I bless you with these ancient words from Brachot 17. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come. And may you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be filled with insight. May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue and your vision be on a straight path before you. May your eyes shine with the light of holy words and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips speak wisdom and your fulfillment be in righteousness, even as you ever yearn to hear the words of the holy ancient one of old. Shabbat shalom.
Yashikah. Thank you for wonderful, inspiring words, not least because you transported me magically back into the 90s when you said that, because I remember well when that speech came out and when everybody was, downloading it on LimeWire and listening to it. So, what a great thing to be reminded of. On this Shabbat, as is our custom, we want to give folks an opportunity to share with us what simchas they might be observing. Now, we know there's some simchas right here. Oh, you're going to have to come back up. Don't shake your head at me. We know there's some simchas right here, but we're going to pause on those simchas for the moment to open up to other ones from the community. So if you have a simcha, a joyous occasion that you are celebrating on this Shabbat or thereabouts, please let us know. And Ruth, I believe, has one to share. Ruth has 2 to share. Ooh.
So I'm very excited about that. And then a few days later, we are going to Hawaii. So we'll miss you guys for 2 weeks.
Oh.
I'll be thinking of you.
What island?
Maui.
Oh, have a great time in Maui. Yeah, sounds pretty good. If you have extra room in your suitcases and you need to cram like a human in there, just let me know. Yes. I think, Zach, were you raising a hand? Ooh. Well, and both you and the people around you are unharmed, so well done. Zach had his first in-person driving lesson. Such a strange COVID-related thing to say. I had my first in-person driving lesson.
I don't know if you can zoom the driving lessons so much.
Yeah, I mean, the bits where they quiz you on all the rules, I guess.
Maybe.
But yeah. Anybody else have a simcha, joyous occasion they want to announce? Nancy, please.
Wow.
Happy bat mitzvah anniversary. It was in the chapel downstairs? Okay, but it was very nearly in this very space. 35 years ago, you said? Bahalacha. Okay, cool. Are you going to chant tomorrow? Are you chanting tomorrow? Okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. That's a good reason not to chant if you have a bat mitzvah. Does anybody else have a simcha that they want to share? All right. Well, with that being the case, I want to invite our graduating seniors to come join us on the bima again, because lest you think that we do not wish to heap blessings upon you, all of us, before you go off onto whatever is your next adventure, we absolutely do. I want to invite also Natalie and Caitlin, if you want to come up, you're welcome to come up too. So why don't you guys come on up and join us? And I think it's hard to follow what Rabbi Graf said earlier, which I think encapsulated a lot of the best advice about what to do for graduating seniors who are embarking on a new phase of their lives. But I just want to say a couple of things. One is that I am incredibly proud of all of you. I have watched you all learn and grow so much in the last 4 years. It's kind of cool to realize that your entire high school experience was my entire Shereth Israel experience so far, so that's a pretty neat overlap. But you have all done so much for this community over the past 4 years and before that, and I believe many of you will going forward too. And we're so excited that you're carrying Judaism forward for us out into the world. So thank you. And the other thing I wanted to say is there's a famous story in the Talmud where a rabbi named Zusia dies and goes up to whatever is the less Christian-sounding equivalent of the pearly gates. And when he gets there, he expects to be asked, why didn't you do more of this or do more of that? And ultimately what he's asked is, why weren't you more like Zusia? And he realizes in that moment that's what he was meant to do with his life. So all I want to say to you is go out there and be you to the best of your ability and keep figuring out what that means. And if you're able to do that, you'll do a fabulous job of whatever it is you set your minds to do. Natalie, do you want to come say a few words to these seniors? By the way, why don't you introduce them first, because it occurs to me that not everybody knows who these people are. Yes, but in front of a mic.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to our seniors. So we have Ryan Maycomber, the last of the Maycomber girls, is graduating high school. And Sylvia Benjamin, also graduating high school, my madricha from the school year. And Nora is an only child, and so her parents will definitely be empty nesters in a few months. And Noah Linder, and they're going to Santa Barbara and Brandeis and Temple, and this one's staying with me. Can I take this? Yeah. Just to unwind it from the thing. That was okay.
You can't go too far.
Not too far. Okay. So when I came to Shereth Israel, my goal was to bring teens to Nifty. And every year of college at SF State, go Gators, when I would sit and wonder how long am I going to be a Gator, it was always with the idea that, well, if I'm there for 5 years, I can watch them train for B mitzvah. If I'm there for 6 years, I can have them become B mitzvah in my time here. And then you guys needed to get confirmed. And now you said 25 years and then you're supposed to leave your post? So I've got 15 to go, but none of them are going to be with you guys as my cool teen students, which is weird. And when I think about my biggest wish for all of you would be to wait until you're sophomores and then find a really nice local synagogue, figure out who the Nancy is, convince her you have a big vision for the youth, and then let those youth hijack your life, keep you from pharmacy school, and allow you to basically turn a synagogue into your favorite Nickelodeon show. You guys have humored me and held me accountable and remembered every embarrassing thing I've ever said in the last 10 years. You guys always make fun of me for going to bed before 7 in the winter. Like, all the things that I've ever said and done that you've remembered have shaped a youth group that people right over there are going to be leading next year. And I think a lot about how much you guys have changed my life and how much I really hope one of you just works for a synagogue sophomore year of college. Caitlin?
I should say Natalie Cannell, our youth programs
I work here.
manager, but who has also taught these teens for many years, and also Caitlin Wall, who has taught these teens for many years.
I'm going to try not to cry too much. Okay. So I grew up at Shereth Israel, for those who don't know, Caitlin Wall. And it has just been such a joy and a privilege to watch all of these young humans grow up here. And I've been finding, as we've been doing more in-person things, that I've been really grieving the last few years of not being able to be in person with these really amazing humans. But I truly believe in that it is not goodbye, it is lehitraot, and you will all be back, and you all have my number, and I will bother you, and probably give you plants, and probably ask you to update me on those plants, just as an excuse to hit you up, and that's fine. So thank you all very much for being here tonight, and for being in these young people's lives, and yeah, go out, be great. Don't do all the things that Natalie and I do, but do better. Do better, and be great, and drink lots of water. That's my advice, is to always mix in water, always mix in water. Yeah, okay. I love you guys.
Well, I'm going to, am I on? I'm on. I'm going to ask that everyone rise for just a moment. I'm going to bring our seniors up to the ark. I'm going to give them a little private blessing, and then we'll all join together in the Shechianu on behalf of both their joyous new phase of life and also all of the simchas that we heard about earlier. So come on up, guys. Please join us in Shechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
Thank you, Adonai, our God, for giving us life and sustaining us and allowing us to reach incredible moments like these. And now you may go ahead and have a seat. You are free. And we're going to remain standing now as we continue our service with Aleinu, the very apt prayer for graduating seniors, in which we remind ourselves and one another that it is Aleinu, it is on us to create the world that we wish to see, the messianic age that we hope to live in. Please join us on page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. If you are observing Shiva or Shloshim, the first 7 or 30 days of mourning for a loved one, please rise and share their name with us. And in this first year of mourning, of course, we remember our Rabbi Emeritus Marty Wiener of blessed memory. If you are remembering a loved one who passed in the last year, please rise and share their name with us. The perpetual memorials in our community are Ingrid Apter, Shoshana Chana Asher, Judy Migdale, Leon Mervis, Joseph Sattler, Harold Weiss, and Joanne May Weiss. And we also observe on this Shabbat the following Yartzites, anniversaries of death. Please rise as your loved one is named. We remember Samuel Austin, Estelle Burke, Nancy Borkin, Eugene Borkovich, Nathan Brisker, Bernard Carmen, Emmanuel Cutler, Paul Cutler, Max Garfinkel, George Glassel, Selma Glassel, Barbara Greenberg, Sylvia Horn, Dale Katz, Morris Leader, Emmanuel Mazel, Morris Perlstein, Sylvia Price, Elliot Sobel, Esfir Sokolovskaya, David Zuckerman, Isaac Weinblatt, Ellen Wallace, Joanne Weiss, and Dr. Peter Wunsch. If you are remembering someone whose Yartzeit falls on the Shabbat, whom I have not named, please rise and share their name with us. Now we rise together as one community in solidarity with our mourners. We join in the Mourners Kaddish on page 294. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah. B'yama divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. Together we say, amen. You may be seated. We have just a few things to announce on this Shabbat. There will be Torah study tomorrow morning on Zoom at 9:15. That will be with me. So if you want to hear even more about the wisdom of Baha'alotcha, you can come to that. I should have said before that there's a YAP event this evening. Do you want to say something about that?
Yes, down the street at 7:30 at Santino's Vino. Please join us if you are in your 20s and 30s or thereabouts.
Right, or very close at heart, yes.
Hi, Jason.
Absolutely. Also, we want to let everyone know that next Shabbat, next Friday, will be Pride Shabbat. I believe we have some folks who are going to speak about what Pride means to them. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. So please come join us for that. I think it's going to be a really joyous occasion. We also have a lot of really exciting classes that are coming up very soon. I'm not going to list them all now, but please look at your leaflets, look at the website, and you'll see all of the classes that are coming up in June and July. Rabbi Graf, anything you want to announce? All right. George? All right. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and conclude. Oh, what, huh? Yeah, I told them that already. I told them that up at the Ark. There's a special treat for the teens, but it's not for the rest of you. Anyway, so we're going to conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi. So I invite you all to rise and join us on page 5 in your prayer books for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר לציעד מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון. הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, וקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim. And I believe we have a Ruth Auerbach special honoring our grads, so we might have to get that horizontal, vertical, tilted.
I'm excited to find out what it looks like. All right. Oh my goodness, it has words.
All right.
Oh, that totally says
definitely
Mazel
says
Tov.
Mazel Tov.
Oh yeah, okay, I will see if I can. Here we go.
Ooh.
This is extremely cool. Thank you, Ruth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Amen.
I get the first taste. Tastes good too.
Excellent.
We're going to conclude our service with another rendition, I believe, of Oseh Shalom. We're going to go into this Shabbat, as we so often try to do, with prayers for peace, hoping that this will be a peaceful 25 hours that we'll all be able to enjoy. Please join us for Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, ho yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Yada יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.